My next patron question is from Joey, who wants to know about a correct way to refer to a specific type of puppet. When people hear the term Muppet, they usually use it to refer to the Muppet Show characters, but when Jim Henson and his company used it, the term referred to all the puppet characters they created, with the exceptions of the puppets they created for stuff like the Dark Crystal, Labyrinth, the Storyteller, and Dinosaurs, which puppet characters were referred to as creatures. Even I remember seeing a bunch of Sesame Street stuff that said featuring Jim Henson's Sesame Street Muppets. After Disney bought the Muppet Show characters and the term Muppet in 2004, the Henson Company has made projects like Pajanimals and the Happy Time Murders, which feature puppet characters who are Muppet-like, but are not referred to as Muppets on screen. What do you think the term Muppet can refer to? Can it be used to describe any Henson puppet characters after Disney bought the term in 2004? For me personally, when I think of Muppets, I do think of any puppets controlled in that manner, whether it be the actual Muppets or even unofficial ones heavily inspired by them and with a similar design like an Avenue Q. And I feel this could also apply to other similar creations within the Jim Henson universe, like the Fraggles and Fraggle Rock. It's worth pointing out that the term was specifically a combination of the words marionette and puppet, according to Jim Henson, as Muppets use traditional puppet techniques along with wires to move the arms. Although you also have characters like the Swedish chef, whose hands are a puppeteer's own hands, and full-size costumes like for Sweetums. Joey mentioned the Dark Crystal and Labyrinth, and those use Muppet-like creatures, even if most of them may not be as cute as Kermit or Fozzie. So I personally still think of them as using Muppets, since the technique was basically the same. The Sesame Street characters have always been referred to as Muppets, which is why there were often crossovers between them, with Big Bird appearing in the Muppet movie and a few others showing up in the Muppets Take Manhattan. The Muppets were reacquired by the Walt Disney Company in 2004, and so they now have ownership of the name. Even the end credits of the 2011 Muppets movie refer to them as Disney's Muppet properties and characters, and I've already pointed out the irony of that in my video about the movie. So something like the Happy Time Murders, which had no involvement from Disney, does not officially have Muppets. That's despite Brian Henson directing the film, but they are basically Muppets. Although, interesting enough, the film's distributor was sued by Sesame Workshop, who did not like Sesame Street being referenced in the marketing and did not want the two to be associated. Sesame ended up losing the lawsuit in the end. Disney themselves have produced shows that may not have the Muppets in them, but also pretty much have Muppets. Bear in the Big Blue House was produced by Jim Henson Television before the Muppets were acquired by Disney, but the acquisition also included the rights to that show, which was officially placed under Muppet Studios. A few years ago, Brian Henson produced the talk show Earth to Ned for Disney+, which has Muppet-like characters in them too. I should mention I do consider most of the creations from the Jim Henson Creature Shop to be separate, so I don't view the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Jack Frost, and the Nazi pigeons from the producers as Muppets. Fun fact, one of those Nazi pigeons was puppeteered by Peter Linz, who would later become the performer for Walter. One iconic character who could be considered a Muppet is Yoda. He is pretty much controlled the same way as the Muppets and was even performed by Frank Oz. While Irvin Kershner, George Lucas, and the visual effects team considered other possible techniques to bring Yoda to the screen, it was decided that a puppet would be the best approach, and one of the people responsible for creating said puppet was Wendy Froud, who already had an association with the Muppets at the time. Lucas had initially asked Jim Henson to perform the character, probably because he knew a thing or two about green creatures who live in swamps. However, he was already occupied and so recommended Frank Oz for the job. So Muppet DNA has long been running through that character, and there's an alternate universe where Yoda sounds like Kermit and Matt Vogel is his current voice. As you can see, I think Muppet can refer to a very specific type of puppet. So Thunderbirds and Team America, not Muppets. Punch and Judy, not Muppets. Slappy the Dummy from Goosebumps, also not a Muppet. But crank anchors, you could probably make an argument there. Just don't let Disney know. Thank you for your question, Joey.